ahead and start that recording. My name's Kristen Sanchez, and I am here to welcome you all to our Tejano virtual events. We have a great presentation for you today. Today we have three of our wonderful English faculty members who produce publications for EPCC. So we have Mr. Richard Barakat from the Borderlands, Mr. Richard Helmling from the Pasos Program Journal, and Miss Minerva Laviaga from Chrysalis. And for today, attending today's workshop, you will have the opportunity to earn Tejano passport points towards earning a medallion. So I'm going to be putting the code for the points today in the chat box, and I'll share more about this program after we're done with the workshop. So please get comfortable, mute your mics, and if you have any questions, please place them in the chat box, or you can raise your hand down at the bottom. And we'll be answering questions after each presentation, since each person will be talking about a different publication. So go ahead and we'll get ready to get started. Mr. Barakat, whenever you're ready to begin.
Thank you, Ms. Sanchez. As Ms. Sanchez mentioned, my name is Richard Barakat. I'm professor of English at Northwest and the faculty advisor for EPCC's Borderlands publication. Borderlands was launched here at EPCC in 1983, which makes it one of the oldest publications that the college provides. It's a student-run publication with editors and work written by 1302 students in my English 1302 class. It is available for free in hard copy in all EPCC libraries, and it's included as insert in El Paso Ink, so that gives it citywide distribution. It comes out once a year, just before school starts in August, and it encompasses essays that have been written and turned into articles during the entire previous academic year. I want to show you just a couple of examples of the recent Borderlands publications here. Let me just share my screen. This is the 2021-2022 edition, as you can see, and it's devoted completely to music. The 2021 and 2022, as well as the following Borderlands cover I'll show you, were produced by the faculty advisor, Tony Purcell, who's a professor here at Northwest with me. And this edition here is devoted completely to music of all types, rock, jazz, folk, and all varieties of music that are available in the Borderlands region. The 2022-2023 edition is devoted completely to literature here in the Borderlands region. On the cover is Professor Lawrence Wells. She's a professor of English at the Valle Verde campus and one of the major American poets writing today, and it's a great privilege to have him adorn the cover of the publication. And within the publication, there is a lengthy interview with him regarding all aspects of his life, both professional and literary, as well as a variety of writers from El Paso and the Borderlands altogether. Let me share another one with you. One second, it's not being displayed here. There we go. The most recent edition is 2023-24 Borderlands. It's devoted to architecture. And this is a very important edition because many El Pasoans are not aware of the very rich architectural tradition we have in this city. Some of you may have heard of Henry Trost, who's one of the leading American architects of the 20th century. And he designed both public buildings as well as private homes throughout El Paso and in the Southwest. And as you can see from the three recent publications that I've shown you, each is devoted to a theme: music, literature, and the current edition is architecture. The current edition that's being produced with me as faculty advisor is not going to be devoted to a particular theme. It will be open to all forms of creative content about anything that interests the student in the El Paso area. But I want to show you a bit of the Borderlands that is currently available. And as I say, it's free in all EPCC libraries. Let me go down. These are the student editors for the current edition. And a remark from the leading editor, table of contents, and then we launch right into the content of the publication. This publication is 28 pages, and that will be pretty much the default length of ongoing Borderlands editions. Mentioning Henry Trost, here's a lengthy article about him, and you can see one of his homes here in El Paso. The cityscape. Then we go to the Bassett Tower. Edward Niesel. The railroad depot, which you all have not, if you haven't been there, you've seen it from the freeway. Burgess House. The artist spotlight of the city. And Mabel Welsh, who adorns the cover of the current edition here, and she's a wonderful architect herself, and one of the groundbreakers of women architects in America. And she's designed some beautiful buildings, mainly homes, but she's done some public work as well. These are 2 homes in El Paso, and 2 more. Another artist spotlight of the city. And then the Crest Legacy, which is of major importance here in El Paso, not just in architecture, but in art as well. So that's a taste of the current edition, and I encourage you to get a free hard copy of it in any EPCC library. And I'm happy to take any of your questions. Let me just open up the chat. If anybody has any questions, you can unmute or, yes, Mr. Hemling.
Yes, I was just curious about Mabel Welch. That's very interesting. And did the students themselves discover and choose her as a focus for the article in the journal, or was that something you suggested to them?
Well, Professor Purcell was the faculty advisor for the current edition, and the upcoming 24-25 edition is my first experience as faculty advisor. I'm not sure how he arranged that, but I'm sure it was in consultation with the students or even as part of a lecture. I'm not sure, but I know that he was, really passionate about this subject as well as I am, because we're surrounded by remarkably rich architecture in the city, and even the city planning is remarkable in itself because of the way it's graduated along the foothills and along the Franklin Mountains as well, which makes it a unique American experience, especially with the Franklin Mountains being more or less the center of the city, and gives it a beautiful mountainscape along with our city scape as well.
I also have a question, Mr. Bearcat. So if a student is interested, they want to help produce one of these editions, is this through a class, correct?
That's right. It's through the faculty advisors class, 1302 Composition 2 English class. It's the research essay that they write for that class, because in all 1302 classes, research essays are part of the syllabus.
Okay, so if you're interested in participating, want to get involved with the Borderlands, find out more about it, you can contact Mr. Barakat, maybe find out about the class that is involved with the Borderlands. Right, and Norm
Yes,
Ellinger, who's a head librarian over at the Mission Campus, has put something in the chat to lead you to issues of the Borderlands that are online. As he mentioned, there is a hard copy at the libraries. So she's putting the archive link up there. So if you want to see the current edition as well as older editions and find out more about it. As you said, it started in 1983.
that's right.
That's
That's right.
awesome. Yeah, so we've got
And
a lot of history.
Professor Ruth Weiss of the English department was faculty advisor for many, many, many years. And then she retired 3 or 4 years ago, and Professor Purcell took over. And now I'm delighted to be taking over myself.
Well, we look forward to seeing this next issue. And you said, when does it come out, did you say?
It comes out in late August, early September, around the time that the academic year starts.
Okay.
So we'll be giving a shout out about that when it does come out.
Okay, well, that's awesome. And we thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Does anybody have any more questions? I'm going to go ahead and I'll display that screen up here just so you can see what that link looks like when you go to it. At the library, you'll be able to see the current edition here, and you'll be able to explore it here with the flip book, or you can go ahead and go to the other tab and see more information as well as the previous editions down here on the side.
Also, Ms. Sanchez, also before you leave that web page there,
Yes, sir.
showing the cover, can you just go back to that for a second, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, there was a problem all week regarding actually using the flip book. It wasn't opening for me,
Oh,
and
no.
so I contacted the head librarian about that. But if you
Oh, yeah.
scroll up, please,
Yeah,
scroll
you
up,
can see
please.
there's the problem. Sure.
Yeah, if you scroll up, there's a PDF in the little square box right there. So that will work for you if you can't open the Borderlands flip book. You do have the PDF option in that box there.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. So you have many ways to get to it, so you'll be able to do that. And we'll put it in the chat. I think Miss Ballinger already did. So if you click on the link that she provided, it'll take you straight here. So thank you again. Thank you so much for your presentation. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to this next issue.
Thank you, Ms. Sanchez, and thank you, Ms. Bellinger, for putting that link in there.
Yes.
And I wish everybody a happy spring break.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So now we're going to go on and we're going to talk about our next publication. That's going to be Mr. Richard Humling from the PASOS Program Journal. He's going to talk to you about that. So go ahead when you're ready.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, and welcome. I am Richard Helmling, online and dual credit faculty through Via Verde. And I wanted to start with a little bit of introduction of the PASOS program. So I'm going to try one more time to see if it will share this PowerPoint, and it won't. So Kristen, I'm sorry, can I ask you to start the PowerPoint for me? Because I just can't seem to do it from my end.
That's fine. That's fine.
Takes me back to the days of teaching through lockdown when nothing seemed to cooperate. Thank you so much. So I wanted to introduce the PASOS program a little bit too, because I find that some folks, students and even faculty, are not very familiar with it. So again, I'm the managing editor this year of the PASOS Journal, but it is just one of many parts of the PASOS program. And for those of you that aren't familiar with us, I have here our basic program description, and I'm not going to commit the cardinal sin of PowerPoint and read exactly what's on the slide to you there. But this does sum up our rather broad mission, which is basically just to celebrate and promote all things El Paso, all things Borderlands, through both the classroom and through community outreach. And so the PASOS Journal is just one of the many components of that program. So the key phrasing from, oh, I forgot to mention, sorry, on this slide, I forgot to mention that we are under the Office of Student Success. But the key language here is that we are all about promoting and, like I said, celebrating our location, our population, our stories. And so at this point, that's where I wanted to go to our website. And again, I'm going to have to ask Kristen to take us over there, please. Sorry. There it is. So as you can see, there's quite a few different projects listed on our website here underneath that description of the program. So PASOS is both a program for faculty, but it's also a student organization. And so we have a number of different elements going on, including the PASOS journal itself. But I did want to, for the faculty in the room, just mention the very top one there. Cariño in the Classroom is a series of seminars that we host throughout the year. Unfortunately, we just missed the spring 24 program. It was on the 2nd a week ago, but there will be another one coming up in the summer and another in the fall. So do be watching your faculty emails for those. And in those seminars, it's just sharing different strategies and different ideas about how to recognize the unique culture of the borderlands in our classes. And so I just wanted to show everyone the website and to make sure, I talked about those parts of the program a little bit. But if we could flip back to the PowerPoint, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. And so I wanted to just kind of mention how I do that in my classroom, what in the classroom looks like for me. I think largely it's an ethos. It's just in how we think about things in the classroom. But there are some tangible things that I put on my syllabi to connect with the Borderlands more. This is actually supposed to be animated, so we got a couple of screenshots from two of my different courses. I've got a 1301 and a 1302 screenshot here. And these are just things that are on my syllabus as reading assignments that are noteworthy because it's behind the Andale Prieta sticker there. It's supposed to say El Paso authors. I've got, of course, Pat Mora, famous El Paso poet. Also have Rosa Alcala, who is a UTEP professor. And then we have our very own Yasmin Ramirez, author of Andale Prieta, which I wanted to mention because not only is she EPCC professor who is celebrating the success and release of her memoir Andale Prieta, but also she was the managing editor for the Pasos Journal for the previous 3 years before I took it over this last year. So I did want to plug her a little bit. If you have not read her book, you should definitely go check it out because it is just delightful. It's a really great book. So those are different ways that I personally try to incorporate the ethos of Pasos on my syllabi and just introduce it into our course. And then I also have students do, even though these aren't strictly speaking creative writing courses, I do have them do some small writing exercises specifically for submission to the Pasos Journal. So I'm always encouraging my students in 1301 and 1302, and especially 2307, to submit to the journal anything that fits under its umbrella. And then, of course, also encourage them, if it doesn't fit under our umbrella, then you should submit it to Chrysalis. But that umbrella is really about those three principles, celebrating our location, our population, our story. So it's a pretty broad theme. So anything that's at all El Paso-ish that has to do with themes or stories or people of the borderlands, it feels like something that we can include in our Pasos Journal. Now, the Pasos Journal is a digital publication, and it is also hosted, just like Borderlands, on the library websites. So could we check that out now, Kristen? Whoa. Thank you so much. So in here, we have the most recent issue is issue 4 here, and then down below, we have issues 1, 2, 3 also available. So you can either view these through the flip application there that's embedded, or you can download the PDF copy as well. And I won't torture poor Miss Sanchez by having her flip through the pages, but if you check these out, you'll see, oh, she's doing it anyway, thank you. You'll see a number of different pieces of writing. We have some artwork in there. We start with stories, we have poems. One of the neat features also that I really like in our journal is we have recipes at the back. And these come out of one of Yasmin's creative writing assignments that she does with her 2307 students, where they write down family recipes. But it's a creative writing exercise also because the cook's notes always share insights into the cultural origin of the recipes, the personal family memories of the recipes, the author's family experiences, all sorts of things like that. So it's a really neat creative writing assignment that Yasmin does with her students. I have not worked up the nerve to do it with my 2307 students yet because I know she does such a good job with it, and I feel like I won't do as well. But eventually I'm gonna do it too because it's such a great unique little assignment. So we always have some of those that we publish as well in a separate section there of the book. So we've got stories, we've got poems, and we've got those little recipes. And so we're always looking for work to celebrate the borderlands. Anything that falls within that mission, we're happy to take from students and publish. So I'm so sorry to bug you one more time. Can we go back to the PowerPoint just to wrap up? Thank you so much. So if you would like to be published, here is how to submit to us. And this flyer is in the files that you can access and download as well for the meeting here. And as you see, we've got a QR code, or there's a link embedded in the PDF where you can, where students can submit fiction, poems, essays, plays, and art. I didn't mention the art, and you saw some of it on the covers there, of course, but we are also always looking for art that falls under that umbrella as well. So anything like that you'd like to submit. And as you can see on my last slide here, really need art. We really need art. We already have for this year, and submissions are open, as you saw on the flyer, are open through May. So there's plenty of time to send us anything. But we've already got some great poems and some stories to share. But always looking out for art that fits that mission of Pasos, again, about our location, our population, our stories that can fit under that umbrella, and we can include it in our book. So if you are an artist or any great artists at EPCC, be sure to let them know about this opportunity to get their work published through the Pasos Journal. And yeah, I think that's about it on my end. Did anyone have any questions?
So I have a question. So everything's due by May. When do you expect to publish the next edition?
We always publish. We spend the summer. We gather some faculty editors to choose which pieces to include, and then do all the formatting work and everything like that, and usually have it published by the beginning of the right around the beginning of the fall semester.
Okay, great. And is there any hard copies available, or is everything's online?
Currently, we're just doing digital. So right now we don't do a hard copy version, but maybe in the near future we'll try that.
Awesome. No, thank you. Does anyone have
Thank you.
questions for Mr. Hellman? All right, well, thank you. I know
Thank
that
you all
there's
for.
some links in there. I'll put your links in there so they can go visit your page for Pasos as well as the journal.
Yes, please check them out. And if you have any questions, you can always just reach me through the EPCC email system. It's Helmling, just like you see there on my slightly abbreviated screen name. And again, that flyer is available there for download if you would like to share that with anyone or would like to submit yourselves. So thanks very much.
Thank you. We appreciate it. That's good information. I had not had the opportunity to see your journal before, so that's really neat to see. So thank you all. So hopefully you all will be able to go check out those links. I put them in the chat box. And so now we're going to move on. And our last presenter today is Ms. Minerva Laviaga, another English faculty member, and she's going to talk about chrysalis.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation, Kirsten, and it's great to be here, and it's nice to go after the Pasos journal, because Pasos and Chrysalis have collaborated in the past. There have been some release events that we've done together, and it's always good to celebrate the work of our students and our community in general. So it's great to see that there are different places where people can send work, and I love Pasos. I'm a Pasos faculty too, so I love Pasos. I am the faculty advisor for Chrysalis, and I have a copy here of the latest issue. And so Chrysalis, for those of you who may be unfamiliar, is the magazine that EPCC produces once a year. The magazine has a very long history. It actually started back, the latest issue that I could find in our archives is from 1972. So it goes all the way to the 70s, and it hasn't stopped in all those years. There were even some years in the 80s where there was an issue for each semester. So there was one in the fall, one in the spring, and I think there are even some issues in the summer. So it has a very rich history of celebrating the literature and the art of our community, and I'm honored to be the one who's overseeing it in this stage of its life. One particularity about Chrysalis that I love, which is something I brought in when I became the faculty advisor in 2017, is that it serves as a way to train students who are interested in pursuing a career in publishing or editing, or who are writers themselves. And so one of the very important features of Chrysalis is that I am training a team of editors who all start as EPCC students. And we have at least 2 editors for each of the genres, and we publish short stories, we publish nonfiction and poetry and art, and excerpts from graphic novels and plays. And we have editors who are the ones who select all the pieces, so they read all of our submissions. We receive many submissions every year, and the editors read them all, and then they work collaboratively with the other editors in the team to make selections. We have great conversations about literature, about how to make these decisions, and then they also get an opportunity to work on other professional areas. So they learn to do events planning, promotion. They are the ones who, if you follow us on Instagram, which if you don't, please do. It's at EPCC _ Chrysalis. And the editors are the ones who are building and creating, designing all the content for that as well. So when they leave Chrysalis, they leave with a vast knowledge of what they will encounter in the publishing world. So I'm very proud of that part of Chrysalis. And then, of course, we publish the work of people who write in English and Spanish, which is another of the things that I love about the magazine, is that it's a bilingual magazine, and we publish both languages, English and Spanish. And it's just great to see the students and faculty and staff together in one presentation. I know my students get very excited when they see their names next to the name of an instructor that they know or that they have heard about, and it's just a way to build community as well. So we have a site where, Kirsten, if I could ask you to go to the main site of Chrysalis, where we have some information about submissions and how to submit. And thank you so much. Yeah, submission guidelines. If we click on that, there are some general just considerations if you're thinking of sending us work. We have a year-long period of accepting submissions, so we accept submissions all year. On December 31st, that we kind of close, in the sense that the editors will read everything that we receive up to that point for the following issue. but we're accepting submissions in January, February. We're accepting submissions right now for the following issue. So right now, the editors are reading everything that we received in 2023. And in the spring semester, we prepare the publication. So another thing that they learn to do as part of their time in Chrysalis, the student editors, is that they learn how to do layout, how to put together a book. The managing editor shadows me in conversations with the printer so that they know all the logistics about putting together a publication. Our distribution is at the EPCC libraries. During the pandemic, because the college was closed, we reached out to some local places, and our community was very, very supportive. We still wanted to get Chrysalis out and in the hands of people and celebrate the work of our community. So we work with Elemi Restaurant, Savage Goods, Chuco Relic. I may be forgetting others, but the community was great in just letting us have issues other places so people can come and pick them up there. Now most of our distribution is gone back to EPCC libraries, where we may collaborate with venues outside of the college again in the near future. And if we, Kirsten, if we could go to our LibGuides site, which is the one that says view issues. Thank you. So I want to thank Rachel Murphy, who has been so great at helping me build this. And we update it every year with each new issue. And what you see there is a cover of the latest issue that we have. But if you notice at the top, there are some tabs for some older issues all the way to 2015. This semester, we're collaborating with the library, and Rachel is helping me with this too. And we are working to on digitalizing older issues. So we may have some very old ones from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s there soon. So keep an eye out for them. We have a 77 premiere issue there. That's the oldest digital version that we have at this moment, but we have some older ones that we'll have there because it's such a rich history. And I see the names of previous faculty advisors for this journal, and it is just such an honor to be, to be one of them. So we're, as I mentioned, we're open for submissions because we're always open for submissions. And if could we show the flyer for the this issue? So this is our new flyer. So if you see it around, it's just a reminder that we're open and that we would like to read your work. We accept fiction, nonfiction, poetry, art, again, English and Spanish. And to send your submissions, you can send them to chrysalis@epcc.edu. Also, if you have any questions, that's where you can find us. And I want to say, so I'm going to type in the chat. This is our Instagram. Sorry, I'm gonna slow it. Our Instagram handle. So if you don't follow us already, please start following us so that you can see some of the great work that the students are doing and how enthusiastic they are. And it's an easy way to share with your classes, if they use social media, if they use Instagram, so that they can stay in the know of when submissions are open, when they're closing. And also for events, we collaborate with other projects with EPCC. Pasos is one of them. We also collaborate often with the Papagayo project, both at the Valle Verde campus and at the Rio Grande campus. And with the English discipline, so we're hosting a bunch of events this spring. Spring is our very busy semester for events because April is National Poetry Month and May is Short Story Fiction National Month. So We have a bunch of events coming up with the Spring Arts Festival. We have poets who are going to visit both Rio Grande and Valle Verde. We have reading with the winners of the Hector Padilla Literary Contest, which is something else that Chrysalis does to honor the memory of our colleague Hector Padilla. And so, you know, stay in the know. So follow us so that you know what's going on, because we have so much going on all the time. And if there are any questions, I think right now I can answer any questions that you may have.
So I have a question. How do you get involved with working with Chrysalis? Like if you want to be on the production side, like to work as part of it?
Oh, that's a great question. Thank you so much. So usually what happens is so the way that the editors work is that they'll join when there are EPCC students, and then usually they stay for another year as volunteers, because once they figure out how it works, you know, like the first year, we're all kind of like learning when we're in a new job. And the second year, they serve as senior editors. So they help me train and work with the new editors. And then after that, usually, you know, they're moving on in their academic and professional careers. So they cycle out. So depending on how many cycle out at each academic year, then what I do is usually on Instagram, we'll post and we'll say, we are accepting applications for new editors. I'll share with the English discipline and on the calendar of events, those emails that we receive, to let people know we are accepting applications. And we ask students who want to be involved with Chrysalis to fill out a simple application, which is just basically telling us like why they want to be editors, a little bit of their background. We love working with English majors, but we don't only work with English majors. The team right now has a combination of, we have some students who are more like going to the medical field. We have a student who's studying business, and then some English majors. But we love working with students from any background. I guess the only requirement is that they love to read, because they'll have to read a lot, that they love literature, that they enjoy working as a team. And so then they fill out the application, and I usually review those applications with the managing editor. So every year out of the group of students, there is one that is kind of in charge of coordinating, helping me coordinate everybody. And that person usually would help me to choose the new group of students. So thank you for asking that question. Yeah, we almost every year we have at least a couple of positions that open for students to join.
Well, that's awesome.
Are there?
Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you for that question. Are there other questions?
And just one more question. I see here that it says that Chrysalis publishes work by EPCC students, faculty, and staff, as well as by writers and artists of all ages from the community at large. So you do accept from non-student as well.
Yeah, and you know, a good portion of our submissions comes from former students. So students who were EPCC students at some point and now they're doing something else. We have a lot of submissions from that segment in the population, and we're very fortunate that we also get a lot of submissions from staff at EPCC, because there are a lot of people who like to write or tell their stories, or they do art or photography, and again, it's our way to continue building community with the college and with the community in El Paso, Juarez, and Las Cruces.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. And thank you all. Anybody have questions? So we do have copies of Chrysalis at the library, hard copies. So if you want to see one in the print version, you can stop by, or you can visit the websites. We've put them in the chat. And follow her on Instagram, follow the publication on Instagram so that you can find out the latest and if there's any openings or what's going on.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the new issue is beautiful, and the cover was done by a high school student who's now one of our students at EPCC, but she was in high school when she sent us this. So we're like really, really happy with this cover. Both images are by the same artist. So if you don't have a copy yet, you should pick it up. It's a beautiful issue. So thank you so much for inviting me and for giving me this time to talk about this project.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for coming. And thank you to all of our presenters for coming today, especially the day before spring break. Everybody's ready to get some rest. So thank you all for coming and appreciate your time. So thank you all also for coming. I have put in the chat box how to get your Tejano passport points. So if that's something that you want to do, I can go ahead and share with you that flyer for that. If you haven't yet registered, you can do so by visiting that QR code or the website, and you can use the code that I put in the chat box. So again, thank you for coming. And I also want to thank all of you for coming. We're not going to hold a workshop next week since we're going to be on spring break. But on Friday, March 22nd, we are going to have the EPCC Foundation here. And so we'd like to invite you to come to that. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a great spring break and take care.